CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest on local gas prices rising higher. At some stations, diesel was selling for more than $2.35 a litre today, a substantial cost increase for truck and courier businesses. And as Sean Irvin reports, that will have a ripple effect on other sectors.
With the price of regular gas and diesel fuel soaring, pressure is building on logistics firms.
The impact of what's happening in the Middle East right now is absolutely impacting the transportation rates to get goods into the hands of consumers.
Brent Landers has operated Couriers Plus for 20 years. In that time, the London business has weathered the ups and downs of the economy and the pandemic. But the unpredictability of recent fuel spikes is an unnerving new chapter, leaving Landers little option but to pass the cost on despite best efforts. For example, a package that a few weeks cost $20 to ship now costs $23.
We have no choice but to continue to increase that fuel surcharge and pass that on to our customers, who in turn have to pass it on to their customers.
A senior leader at a London trucking firm tells a similar story. Trisec Logistics has raised its U.S. price per mile from 46 cents to 65, but that only applies to customer contracts that don't have fixed rates.
We have a lot of contracts put through for fiscal 26, and those are set in stone, and it's absolutely killing us. No one's happy with the numbers.
Now, the price is not only impacting the bottom line for both businesses and their customers, it's also affecting employment levels.
A few months ago, you were maybe looking to hire? Or?
We were, yeah. So that's not the case anymore.
We have had to cut back on some part-time employees, or cut back their hours just because we don't have the volumes that we had before Christmas.
Still, both firms contend there is still work, at least for now. However, should fuel prices continue to spike upward, Smith agreed that a call for government aid might be necessary to help logistics firms weather the storm.
There's always that thought, but right now everyone's kind of on their own, and we're just trying to keep our heads above the water every day.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
London police say they're investigating apparent vandalism at a local MPP's constituency office. With more on the damage and Peggy Sadler's reaction, here's Jerry DeWan.
London West NDP MPP Peggy Sadler says at first it was hard to comprehend that someone would damage her London constituency office.
It is unsettling for sure, but you know, we're in this business to help people, and we're gonna keep doing that.
Windows were also smashed out in an adjoining unit that was apparently being used for storage by another tenant. The offices are located in a 3-story building that has commercial space on the ground floor and apartments on the upper levels. It appears the vandalism happened around 1:30 Sunday morning.
We saw a video that a neighbor had captured on a security camera, and it did appear to be a very targeted attack of vandalism against my office.
The incident is now in the hands of the London Police Patrol Operations Investigative Section.
Using video surveillance from the area to identify suspects in hopes that we can, lay a charge and bring this to a conclusion.
Sadler says at this point there's nothing to indicate anything was taken or that anyone tried to enter the office. In the fall of 2024, charges were laid after protesters opposing the Israeli siege on Gaza sprayed ketchup intended to represent blood on the constituency office of London North Centre MP Peter Fragiskatos. Sadler says it's important to send the message that politically motivated crimes of any kind can't be tolerated.
I understand people are angry right now. People are frustrated. There's a lot of anxiety and insecurity, and people are worried about their future. But this is not an acceptable way to make a political statement.
Constituency office staff were in on Sunday to clean up broken glass, and the landlord replaced broken glass in the door so that the office could open first thing Monday morning. Sadler says there may be temporary office closures while glass is being replaced. The office has had a policy of keeping the door locked and buzzing visitors in for a few years, but staff are now being extra cautious about screening people before they enter. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
It's going to cost taxpayers more than originally estimated to install heating systems in 4 municipal buildings before a steam pipe is decommissioned. Enwave, the owner of London District Energy, is set to decommission a steam pipe on October 31st, which supplies heat to City Hall, Centennial Hall, Museum London, and the Central Library. The total cost to install boiler systems is expected to be $11.5 million, $3 million more than the initial estimate. City Hall officials say the higher cost is coming from the equipment required, construction of new mechanical rooms, and labor availability.
I have not had any confirmation from any contributions from Enwave, certainly for city projects, nor have I been made aware of any contributions to other community organizations.
Also at City Hall, there was little political support for requiring weeping tile disconnections whenever older homes change ownership.
It's not an implementation plan with specific costs or dates, but rather the opportunity for staff to investigate the pros and cons.
About 50,000 homes built before 1985 have weeping tiles draining stormwater into the city's sewage system. The excess water can cause basement flooding and sewage overflows into the river. However, several committee members were uncomfortable mandating the disconnections, which can cost between $5,000 and $10,000.
You're talking about 50,000 people almost spending what they would spend entirely in property taxes a year just to create this one change.
We're already spending tens of millions of dollars in building infrastructure to try and address this issue, but it also not necessarily even addressing the basement flooding.
They don't want to penalize some of the properties where they're older properties. They do have a lot of those financial challenges.
A special council meeting has been called in Sarnia to address comments made by Councillor Bill Dennis about Indigenous artwork at City Hall. With more on his remarks and the response, here's Brian Bicknell.
It's a gray day outside, but inside Sarnia City Hall, a new mural fills one side of the foyer with color. Welcome greetings in English, French, and Anishinaabe. Unveiled last week, not everyone is a fan of the original artwork, which cost taxpayers more than $12,000, including commission and installation. Councillor Bill Dennis said on social media it's virtue signaling by woke politicians out of touch. It's those comments that set off back and forth exchanges between Dennis and a number of groups condemning his remarks. Reached on vacation in Florida, Dennis says he's not backing down.
Worst council Sarnia has had in quite some time. It's the farthest left council Sarnia has ever had, and I'm the most conservative councillor Sarnia has ever had. So it makes for a bad combination, and I'm simply not going to be subject to. It's been 8 against 1 for the last 4 years almost.
Amjinang Chief Janelle Namaben declined our interview request, citing prior commitments, but she did speak out on social media directly to Councillor Dennis, saying the race division you continuously perpetuate resolves nothing. A special Sarnia Council meeting Tuesday will address Dennis's comments. Mayor Mike Bradley says it comes as the city works to build relationships with First Nations neighbors.
The meeting was called by council. They petitioned for it, 5 members of council, and they wanted to respond to these comments, which they found very distasteful. And that's what the meeting's about. It'll be a difficult meeting, but I think there'll be a strong message from this council. The councillors' comments are unacceptable in any context, whether they're by email or in person.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
London police say they've laid multiple charges against a woman accused of impaired driving and causing a serious crash this weekend on Wellington. According to police, the driver was speeding down the road, hitting 2 other vehicles, severing a telephone pole before smashing into a business's sign early Sunday morning. Fire crews extricated 2 women from the vehicle, and police say the 23-year-old driver then assaulted paramedics, officers, and a nurse once she arrived at hospital. They say the passenger pulled from the vehicle has life-threatening injuries. Provincial politicians were back at Queen's Park today for the first time since December. Government officials are expected to table their budget on Thursday under intense scrutiny for a bill restricting freedom of information access. Siobhan Morris reports.
For the first time in 102 days, MPPs from across Ontario are back in the halls of Queen's Park. The opposition making noise about an overhaul of freedom of information laws that will put the Premier's cell phone records out of reach.
They are taking us backwards, Speaker, in accountability and transparency. So I would ask the Premier to explain why is his government taking away the people's right to see how decisions are made and who is benefiting.
I'll tell you what's inside these phone calls.
Doug Ford has been clear. Blocking access to his phone is behind the changes. They come after the courts found he had to turn records over. He maintains Ontario is just getting in line with Ottawa.
There's two groups that are concerned about it. It's the opposition that they should talk to their federal partners, and the media. Everyone else is focused on something else.
The Green Party leader calls the Premier's justification
hogwash.
New Democrats tried to use a speaker's warrant to compel the Premier to share his records, but it's a move that goes nowhere. The ask is non-binding.
It's not my decision. I act on behalf of the House, and if the House directs me to issue a warrant, then I would.
Liberals argue the Premier's trying to duck accountability on other fronts.
After 8 long years, does the Premier really think he can hide from his record of making life harder for Ontario families?
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
An Auditor General report is outlining Canada's international student program and quality controls that are falling short. It found new post-secondary permits have been reduced, but critical weaknesses were found in the program's integrity controls. Abigail Beeman reports.
Canada's Auditor General says integrity falls short when it comes to the government's revamp of the international student program.
What's concerning for me is that the department isn't acting on the information that it has.
The report found schools flagged more than 153,000 potential red flag students to the government over 2 years, but the Immigration Department only investigated just over 4,000. And when 41% of flagged students didn't respond to the government, the investigation seemed to end there.
We will definitely do better, and we will be more consistent.
Overall, a cap on international students worked to drop the numbers. The audit found they dropped much more than expected. This graph shows the projected number of new study permits for 2024 and 2025, and the total actually approved up until September. Separately, the audit found 800 cases where applicants had either used fraudulent information or misrepresented themselves. Most went on to apply for other immigration permits in Canada, and more than half of those were approved.
We will be centralizing the investigation. We will be streamlining anyone that is flagged. We will be doing more reporting, and we will be information sharing with CBSA.
But the minister wouldn't say how many more investigations would be possible.
We've brought too many people into the country too fast for housing, healthcare, jobs to keep up. That has lowered public acceptance for immigration, and frankly, it's just a giant dumpster fire.
The immigration minister also said the report only captures the first 18 months of what is a multi-year reform. The Conservatives call that an illusion and say nothing has changed. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Ontario Hockey League Commissioner was in Chatham-Kent tonight, pitching municipal leaders on what's required to bring an OHL franchise to the community. With more, here's Robert Lothian.
There's a choke in front of the net. Shot, great.
A pitch to bring the highs of the OHL to the heart of Chatham-Kent. OHL Commissioner Brian Crawford presenting to Municipal Council Monday night on a potential expansion team.
I think Chatham-Kent has always kind of been in the background of potential markets that could one day be interested in hosting an OHL team.
Crawford said talks are underway across Ontario to expand the 20-team league. A commitment from the OHL hinges on a quality facility.
The level of interest that the community has in building an arena in this scenario. Without an arena, there isn't much to discuss.
In Chatham, a new arena for local hockey and recreation is already a need, but an OHL team needs capacity for at least 5,000 people, with an estimated $150 to $200 million price tag.
So we're in the market for a new arena, whether it's a 5,000 seat OHL arena or not, I don't know, but the timing's correct, because we're going to build an arena, I think, one way or the other.
Ward 6 Councillor Michael Bondi is one of several councillors worried about impacting the existing Chatham Maroons, who have a lengthy history and a passionate fan base.
So that's going to be a big question, is what happens to our, beloved Maroons that have been playing hockey here for, again, probably close to 80 years.
But Crawford says GOHL teams already coexist in other markets.
We, as in the OHL, have a very vested interest in the health and the longevity and the viability of the GOHL because of our now partnership and because of our dependence on them to help develop our players going forward.
The league would oversee finding an owner, and the team would lease space and ice time. Even with a new arena, a Chatham-Kent OHL team would be 3 to 8 years away. Robert Lothian, CTV News.
Still ahead, an unforgettable experience. The local teenager and his wish fulfilled, getting the red carpet treatment from the Toronto Blue Jays. Canada's main stock index was up today, as were American markets. The TSX gained 566 points. In New York, the Dow added 631, the Nasdaq up 299. The Canadian dollar unchanged, just under 73 cents U.S. On commodity markets, gold lost more than $176 an ounce. Oil fell more than $10 a barrel. New York's LaGuardia Airport was shut down today after an Air Canada Express jet crashed into a fire truck. 2 pilots were killed and more than 40 other people were hospitalized. With the latest on the investigation looking into how this all happened, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Parts of the mangled cockpit hang from the Air Canada Express wreckage as investigators piece together the cause of the collision.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Chilling audio from the air control tower reveals some of the communications leading up to the crash and its horrifying aftermath.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
At around 11:40 p.m. Sunday, a Port Authority fire truck is responding to another emergency. Another plane reporting odor in the cabin.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Stop, Truck 1. Stop. Stop, Truck 1. Stop.
The CRJ 900, operated by Jazz Aviation, landing at LaGuardia, smashes nose first into the truck of the airport's runway 4.
Sadly, the 2 pilots are confirmed deceased, and notifications are being made by Air Canada's care team at this time.
One of those pilots was Antoine Forêt from Coteau-du-Lac, Quebec. A flight attendant was found nearly 100 meters from the plane, still strapped in her jump seat that was ripped from the airplane. CTV News has confirmed that her name is Solange Tremblay and that she was undergoing surgery.
We're fully supporting the relevant investigative authorities in their investigation to learn everything we can about these events.
Dozens of passengers were treated and released, but others are in serious condition in hospital.
Everybody screaming. Pretty quickly, we didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been kind of destroyed. So
he smashed his face into the seat in front of him, broke his glasses.
Sarah Dorner's husband, a professor at Montreal's Polytechnic Institute, was on board.
He smelled gas, so he was encouraging people to just slide down, go down the wing. He was there to catch them.
Canada's National Transportation Safety Board has also dispatched a team of investigators to assist in the probe. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Good evening. Clear overnight and cold with the wind chill, feeling close to -11 to -14 in and around the area. Waking up to sunshine for tomorrow morning. Kathy, if you're taking Bogey for a walk first thing in the morning, expect some sunshine, but a chilly start to the day. Winds shifting southwest, and they'll pick up as we head toward noon hour with gusts to 40 kilometers per hour. A few flurries towards the Bruce Peninsula and northern Bruce County as we head into your Tuesday. I'll have your local weather details with a day-to-day warming trend developing coming up.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie Atchison now, and I'm getting to the point where I know we're officially into spring now, but I'm basically gauging each day whether or not it feels like spring, and today was not a spring-like day.
No,
Didn't feel that way.
It's cold tonight. Skies are clear, the temperature's dropping. We even have a wind chill tonight, so the temperature is already dipping down -5 to -6. Next couple of hours, we'll see it crash down to about -8, and yes, feeling close to -11 in London overnight. Midwestern Ontario feeling close to -14. We had some freezing drizzle earlier today and some light flurries, but conditions calmer as high pressure builds in over the area, and that has shut down those strong gusty winds out of the northwest. Temperatures as we head toward Mount Forest, KW -9 to -10. Those are our colder spots, whereas along the lakeshore about -4 to -6. So we had a big weather system moving through the east coast today, just offshore, and you can see the snowfall associated with it starting to wind down, but special weather statements in effect and weather warnings as snow accumulated through the day today. High pressure building over the Great Lakes. That shuts down the lake effect snow flurries, brings us lighter winds and some sunshine heading into tomorrow. Now, a weak cold front will be developing tomorrow afternoon, but it will stay to the north of London. It will bring some flurries towards the Bruce Peninsula, likely around lunchtime. By the afternoon, the clouds will once again start to thicken. So we do have a nice sunny break to start your Tuesday, so some sunshine rather in the morning. In the afternoon in London, a mix of sun and cloud, and then increasing cloud cover through Huron and Perth County later in the day. Flurries will stay confined to areas of the Bruce Peninsula and northern Grey Bruce. 5 degrees, the forecast high. Tuesday afternoon, southwest winds picking up with gusts of 40 kilometers per hour. Wednesday, overcast and mild at 8 degrees. We'll hit 15. Rain and gusty winds expected on Thursday. This cold front that comes through will bring a drop in temperature heading into Friday. So it'll go from feeling quite spring-like with spring rain showers to sunshine and cold conditions Friday morning. Mix of sun and cloud Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures start to warm back up. Sunday into Monday, we have a shot at getting up to 10 degrees. Could see temperatures climb even warmer. Forecast models hinting at a bit of a surge of warmth early next week. Midwestern Ontario, varied temperatures as we head into the day. Around 0 towards northern Grey Bruce. 3 to 4 degrees towards central areas, and then here on Perth, you'll be at about +4. 7 degrees on Wednesday and cloudy, and then rain and gusty winds as we head into your Thursday. Some sunshine for your Friday, and then Saturday, chance of flurries. Daytime highs hovering anywhere from 3 upwards of 9 degrees. So the forecast across the region tomorrow, we will start the day with some peaks of sunshine towards parts of Grey and Bruce County. Here on in Perth, you'll see some sunshine tomorrow as well, but some flurries to areas to the north, and then cloud cover rolling in for your Wednesday and rain on Thursday. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. A St. Thomas teenager living with a terminal illness had his dying wish fulfilled earlier this month by the Toronto Blue Jays. The 17-year-old is a huge baseball fan, and as Brent Lail reports, the ball club rolled out the red carpet for him and his family.
This one's an autographed ball I got from the training center when I went to go see Trey and David Schneider.
Wesley Johnson can't stop smiling about his experience with the Toronto Blue Jays. With a failing heart, the dying wish of the St. Thomas teenager was to see a spring training game and meet his favorite player, Trey Savage.
There definitely isn't words to explain how incredibly thankful and grateful we are to everybody who either, donated, shared the GoFundMe, made a phone call, made an email, tagged a post. The Jays definitely knew we were coming, so they spoiled us rotten.
What's going on? What's up, man? How you doing? What's your name?
The day started by meeting Savage and Davis Schneider, then a full tour of the spring training complex.
I was definitely shocked that I was able to go down to field level during their warm-up and watch their batting practice up close, so that was definitely cool. I got to meet a few players there, too.
This is Wes right here, man. We're the biggest fans here.
Those players included George Springer, Addison Barger, and Dalton Varsho. He got the full VIP experience and watched the Jays beat the Braves 7-0.
Since we've been home, we've talked nonstop about the game and how incredible the experience was, and he's told me that the day of the game is the best day of his life, except for the day that his 2 little brothers were born.
We first met Wes last month when his family held a living celebration of life. His health is declining rapidly, even forcing them to end their Florida trip early.
Things did not go super well for him in terms of his health after the game, but he rallied through the day, put his all into it. The Jays put their all into it, and it turned out to be one of the most incredible experiences.
And as he spends his final few days with family, he's remembering this special experience.
It's definitely a dream come true.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Pure Country 93. London's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's Big 50K Payday.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a ceremonial start for the Great Lakes shipping season. With more on the traditional launch event in Goderich, here's Scott Miller.
Goderich's mayor sets the ceremonial top hat on the head of Captain Joe Costello, who takes this year's distinction as captaining the first ship to enter Goderich's port, kicking off the 2026 shipping season.
It's always one of my favorite days of the year. This is my 3rd one as mayor, and we're happy that the Seaway's open, right? Great Lakes is a big component of the town of Goderich and what we do here.
Now, calling this the first ship to enter Goderich's port this year is a bit of a misnomer. Ships have been going in and out of Goderich's port so far this year. But until the locks open in Welland, which they open today, and the locks in Sault Ste. Marie open later this week, really ships can't cover the entire Great Lakes. So I guess officially this is the opening of the entire Great Lakes shipping season.
This signifies the 94th top hat ceremony taking place at the Port of Goderich. It was a tradition that was started in 1932.
Ships have been able to continue traveling Lake Huron and Lake Michigan because of the yeoman's work of Canadian and American icebreakers. Lake Huron reached more than 80% ice coverage in early February and March, and although it's been slow going at times, shipping has become a nearly year-round activity in Goderich, which did lead to more ships docking in Huron County last year.
In 2025, seen 194 vessels, over 25 vessels up from 2024. And we're anticipating that kind of generic growth again in 2026.
With a $3 million project to create more storage at Goderich's Portlands to be completed this year, and big plans for a $65 million expansion that would see 11 acres of Lake Huron filled in to make even more Goderich Portlands, Herkmans sees traffic at Goderich's port growing exponentially in the decades to come.
We really believe that as Canada gets its supply chain strategy sorted out and trade diversification, that we will be a backstop to relieving congestion at some of the major ports throughout the Seaway corridor.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.